It's fun to be able to sing all of it, and certainly it's challenging. Brian and I try to pick, well, Brian is the brains behind programming. He makes me look much smarter than I really am. And so we try to find things that are going to show a different sort of vocal color, vocal weight. And to be able to sing in my own language is something that I don't get to do on the operatic stage at all. So that's always a lot of fun. I have always felt like I'm a bit of I long a little bit for the Broadway stage. I have started taking voice lessons and entered school as a vocal performance major, not really knowing what that necessarily would mean. I had become involved in theater, so I liked the combination of theatrics and opera. And I started entering contests as a young singer, really just as a means of making a little money to pay my American Express bill or the electric bill or whatever. And I found myself winning them, and I would prepare for various competitions that required different repertoire. And I really, really took one opportunity after another as they presented themselves, and this is where it ended up. In Kansas City. I think that I would say that you really have to want it terribly bad and to understand that there are all kinds of careers to be had in music. And it's very easy for me to say, being Deborah Voigt singing at the Metropolitan Opera and Chicago and all these fabulous places, but I didn't start out aiming for that. And to be as prepared as you possibly can be to try and know yourself, know what you really want from your life. This lifestyle is very demanding and doesn't lend itself well to relationships or family life. And so that's a lot to really consider. And to go very slow, take your time, work hard. Ryan, you must have something.
Well, I recommend to all young singers that they make sure that they've got the best teacher they can find wherever they're from. But that's absolutely essential. But also to put feelers out, go to good summer programs, get advice from other people. It's not so hard to get perspective from a sort of national lens. The Metropolitan Opera National Council goes and listens to a lot of people. We do really keep our eye on people that are all over and get the best advice you can, and even from within your community for sure, but step outside and get the advice as well, because it'll give you a very good perspective on where you are and what the next step would be for you.
I appreciate the response that I get from you. That's really the truth of it. And also, when the planets are aligned and the stars are, you have these moments of bliss and on stage where you know that that's what you're supposed to do, but that doesn't happen every night. Certainly tonight it did, of course.
Lots of bliss all around.
Lots of bliss everywhere. But yeah, really, that's kind of the reward of it is, having doing well, feeling that you did well, and having an audience respond to it with enthusiasm, which you did. Thank you very much.
For me, I'm so lucky being a collaborative pianist. I get to work with wonderful, wonderful artists, and they inspire me. That's the nature of my business at the piano. I'm very, very lucky with the colleagues I've had. And where I too have addressed the question that Debbie just answered, my biggest satisfaction is in making music with the people I get to make it with. I'm very, very fortunate with that. We really, inspire each other and challenge each other. Every different artist I play with is a very different personality, a different set of gifts.
Can you imagine?
Did I answer the question? I lost track.
The people that inspired me tended not to be singers, other than Julie Andrews and Karen Carpenter that I mentioned. They tended to be people in my life. I'm still friendly with my junior high school music teacher, and she used to get up and play the guitar, and I just was just so enamored of her. And my primary first voice teacher when I was in college was also very inspirational to me for reasons that, mean, yes, she was a great teacher, but she was also a really fabulous woman, and she was a really excellent musician, and she taught me to be a good musician, to work well with others, which, you know, if you're going to have a lengthy career in the opera stage, you're going to run into personalities. And so, you know, learning how to deal with different personalities is very important. And I remember one time we were doing a vocal master class, and I got up to sing, who knows what, a couple of years ago. And I didn't think it had gone very well. I hadn't sung well. And some of the students and people in the class came up to me afterwards and were saying, oh, you were just wonderful, it was just fabulous. And I said, oh, really, it wasn't so good, and this wasn't good, and that wasn't good. And my teacher pulled me aside, and I'll never forget it. She said, you know, Debbie, other people don't know whether it was good or not. Some of them might, and in the context of a vocal master class, that's true, but she said, don't rain on their parade, don't spoil their joy. And I think that was really a really good lesson for me, that you all have had an experience, and I have had a different one. And to say to you, well, I didn't think that was so good, I mean, it's just really not something. People like that were really more inspirational to me than any great singers. That being said, I had a wonderful opportunity to work with Leonie Riesnick as a young singer, and she was very inspirational, and Hildegard Behrens, and people like that, Placido, of course. One season at the Met, I did 2 operas, I had 2 tenors. One was Pavarotti and the other was Domingo. Poor me. A few years back, I ended up in the news in a very public way, and Ben Moore wrote a parody song, actually he'd written it already, called Wagner Rolls, and it's basically lamenting the fact that I don't get to do anything but Wagner. Why don't I get to sing Rossini with all those notes and it incorporates some scales, or Johann Strauss that I can sing and dance? And Brian and I were doing a concert at Carnegie Hall, and this incident with the Royal Opera House had just happened, and we were trying to figure out, well, how do we address this? So we talked to Ben, and Ben incorporated a little line, and it went like this. Well, this business we're in, it's really a mess. Not to mention the deal with the little black dress. And the audience kind of went wild, and it was a good way to put a dot at the end of the sentence. So I don't know, we should probably take that line out, and we'll revisit it. Thank you.